Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
Brewers, it's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy. Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings.
Here we are again.
Oh, ready for another fine episode.
Fine?
Yeah.
Fun?
Fine episode, yes. Or
Sure.
better than average.
Better than average. Just kind of so-so. Just kind of here or there. Yeah. Hey, you and I are both going to be at GABF.
We are indeed.
We're going to both be in Singapore.
Yep.
And we're going to both be in GABF. And then I don't know if we have any... hey, you, Mr. Palmer, should come up to visit us.
You have another rally up there?
Having a rally, October 29th. Tis a Saturday.
Okay, I will put it on my calendar. I'm not sure if that's free, but let's check here.
Mm-hmm.
Come
on.
Brazil. No, I'm going to be in Brazil that weekend.
Oh, likely story. I'm going to Brazil for Halloween. I won't be there. I'm sorry. Taking the private jet. All that how to brew money.
Yeah, this is in a different state that I've never been to before. Actually, north of Rio.
That you meant like state of confusion or something.
No. Well, that may, but no.
Gonna go down, get some Zika, bring it back.
Probably, yeah. If I get some fine fruits and vegetables, get hounded at customs.
Zika-mon go? Is that what you're gonna do? See if you can find some Zika down there.
Zika-mon go?
Yeah, you'll find them all.
Oh no.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Exactly. Zika-mon go. Yes.
Brazil? No.
Huh?
Singapore.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
That I'm really looking forward to that. That's just going to be, culturally is so interesting to be there and, see a part of the world I've never seen before.
Chris White, who has spent a fair amount of time in Asia, has actually gone to the homebrew event that you and I will be at. Mm-hmm. He said, be prepared for it to be so incredibly hot. It's like it's 95 degrees and 100% humidity. And he said that the judging and stuff will be outdoors.
Wow. How do they keep the beer cool?
Ice chests? I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
But he said be prepared for several hours of heat and drinking. He said it doesn't bother the people who live in Singapore. But he said it was quite brutal to be there and be outdoors for hours on end in the heat.
Well, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. Do my best.
Right. Oh, I am a bit of a princess and a delicate flower, shall we say? And I need my air conditioning. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we'll just have to get some spray bottles and
some fans.
Yeah,
there you go. Maybe I'll carry a parasol. I'm just saying, whatever it takes.
That's right.
I'm tough. I'll make do.
We'll bring some pith helmets with us.
No, I'll just use the. I'm sure they get toilets.
Oh, okay.
That shouldn't be a problem. Or I can just go in a bush. I won't need that.
Won't need a helmet for.
No. Especially not a piss helmet. I mean, really.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, in just a minute, we're going to talk about Q&A questions that came in at brewstrong at thebrewingnetwork.com. But I want to tell people how it is that we're able to provide the show for free. That you can just get on your computer, do a little tap, 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 click, 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 and you download yourself some shows for free.
That's true.
Click, 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 and you got all the shows you want. 10 years worth of shows, a little more clickety, 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 you got it. All because of our fine friend, John Blickman at BlickmanEngineering.com. Blickman Engineering, they're innovating your brew day. They're constantly making cool new stuff at make your brew day simpler, easier, better, more fantastic, all of the above. And great people with great engineering minds. They have been sponsoring the show for a good long time and paying for it so you don't have to. So you should be quite thankful. And I think the least you could do is go to or send an email to feedback at BlickmanEngineering.com and tell them that you appreciate that they sponsor the show. That's, I think John's not looking for any great kudos, but it'd be nice for him to know that the money he spends on the show is appreciated. And he's not really looking for any more than that. But I would say, if you're in the market for brew gear, check out BlickmanEngineering.com. Check it out that stuff. And then if you think, hey, I don't have a lot of money to spend, they've even got a more value engineered line for you. Anvil Brewing Products. It's anvilbrewing.com. Check out all the goodies they got there. These are every bit as well constructed as the finest Blickman gear, but engineered in a way to keep the prices down. Maybe not as many bells and whistles, but solid brewing stuff for your brewing enjoyment if you're on a little bit more of a budget. So
I like to think of them as the Chevy versus the Cadillac.
The Chevy versus the Cadillac. Okay. All right, John. You can be a little more modern. The Leaf versus the Tesla.
Huh? Yeah, that works.
Huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
Or the Galaxy versus the iPhone kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Don't think so.
Moving on.
All right. Why don't we jump right in with a question? Pornographic dildo, Stephen.
Okay. This is from Trevor Raborn. It says, hey guys, I'm using Palmer's spreadsheet to calculate my mash pH, and I'm not quite sure how to add acidulated malt into the spreadsheet. How would I go about doing that? That also makes me wonder if I should even bother with acidulated malt. And should I just buy some acid and acidify my mash and sparge water? I batch sparge, so I'm not really worried about my runoff pH, but would it just be easier to acidify with liquid acid? Which acid would be best to use, if so?
Now, I'll jump right in here.
Okay.
Just because, just use like lactic acid from your homebrew shop. Using acidulated malt, the only reason it exists is because from the Reinheitsgebot, where the Germans couldn't pour lactic acid in, they essentially grew lactic acid on the malt so they could throw the malt in just to get around the fact that they couldn't just use straight old lactic acid. The problem with the acidulated malt, and there are estimates for how much you use, for how much a pH drop in what size batch. You find that, Google that. I'm not going to Google it for you. And you could go ahead and use that in your calculations. But why? It costs more money. It's it can be a little bit more variable than just straight lactic acid. So just use lactic acid. You can use phosphoric too. Some people prefer phosphoric. It gives more of a taste like soda. Lactic acid gives more of a taste towards, kind of like fruit juice or lactic is just super easy to work with and readily available. Just keep it refrigerated. And that's about it. I think there's just not I don't see the value of using acidulated malt when you don't have to. It's tying your hand for no reason. What would you say, John? How does this is a question about your spreadsheet?
Sure. Well, I was going to say that acidulated malt is, I guess, as you say, it's a tool for those trying to adhere to the Reinheitsgebot or trying to adhere to some principle of beer purity. And I've looked at the numbers, and Weyermann states on their website that a 1% addition by weight of acidulated malt to your grain bill will drop the pH about 1/10. Under I guess nominal conditions, a pale beer and so on.
Sure. Well, and that's also true for just straight lactic acid too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the conditions of the mash.
Yeah, I think if you're a little bit shy about figuring out how much lactic acid to use, there's instructions in the water book that Colin and I put together that guide you through that process. It's pretty easy to calculate, or you can just brute force it by measuring it with the stirring and measuring with the pH meter as you add it. Mm-hmm. So either way. Whichever seems easiest to you.
Yeah, I just got to say that, there's times when maybe the conditions are slightly different. Your starting water or something about the grain, the base malt that you're using is slightly different because you're not always getting exactly the same base malt. So it tends to change batch to batch. And so when you use the acidulated malt, you've calculated this and you've added that and you've got your water measured out and everything else, and then, it didn't drop to where I thought it would. I need to add more. Well, now you got to add more water. It starts just throwing everything off. With lactic acid, if it doesn't work out, it's like, okay, well, I'll just add another mill to my mash and see where that gets me. I can add another mill, and you can just keep going. Yeah. And it's very easy to just make a little tweak. So I'm telling you, I'm begging and pleading with all you folks, stop using acidulated malt and just use lactic acid. If you want to, fine. But I'm just saying it's easier, it's more straightforward, and that's why I would recommend it.
Thus speaks the Pope.
It is a popeism.
Yes.
Let it be so. All right. Let's take a short break. When we come back, more of your questions after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. more beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Grog tags aren't just for labeling your home brews to hand out to your friends. They're the perfect way to round out your personal brewing marketing. Bringing your latest beer to a funeral? Craft a metal sign to go with it. Heading out to little Liam's bar mitzvah? Grog Tag custom bottle caps are awesome. Couldn't get out of jury duty this year? Grog Tag the hell out of the deliberation room with reusable labels. Grog Tag has an awesome array of products just waiting to be customized by you. Metal signs, coasters, tasting mats, bottle caps, tap handles. It's all there waiting for your designs at Grog Tag. Liven up your next party with the widest selection of custom products ever offered by a sponsor of the Brewing Network. Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right. We spent the break talking sandwiches. What makes a good sandwich? Sauces.
Sauce.
We talked lunch boxes.
Oh.
We talked all sorts of things. We
People
talked
saying
breads. We talked everything except for craft the brew.
Yeah.
John, I know you've heard of this. This is that plastic conical fermenter that is 90% more scratch resistant than other plastics and 71% more or less oxygen permeable. It's got a nice compact stand, meaning you can put this thing on your counter, you can put it inside your fridge. It's not like 6 feet tall and bulky where it won't fit somewhere. You can actually sneak that thing in and, right on your countertop, lightweight so you don't struggle lugging it around. And I think that's great. Take it over to your friend's house and you can brew there with it. Cleaning's a breeze. It's got the large snap-off lid so you can reach right in there and clean it up. That's one of the problems with like the better bottles and carboys as well. With better bottles, you can't reach in with a carboy brush and scrub it, but it's hard to do any other sort of cleaning, so you have to just rely on chemical means. But something like this, you could reach in on the inside because it's 90% less likely to scratch. It's pretty cool. And the coolest thing is it's got a 3-inch butterfly valve on the bottom. So you can screw in your mason jar, and then if you want to leave that thing open and collect your yeast in the bottom, in your mason jar, and then close that, and you've harvested yeast for your next pitch. I think that's pretty cool. You can get all this by checking out the Catalyst on Kickstarter.com, and you can support our friends at Craft Brew for making this new fermenter a reality. Very cool. So check them out today. All right. What's our next question?
This one's from Michael Fry. It's about pH level in the pre-boil.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to win a Pro-Am session to brew and enter my beer into GABF.
Congratulations.
During the brew day, the head brewer and I talked about various things. The one thing that I've never heard discussed on this show or scouring the interwebs was pH level for your pre-boil. We talk about it all the time for the mash to get better efficiency, etc. Something I never thought of was after the mash was complete, making adjustments to the pre-oil so that it sets me up for fermentation and a final product. The numbers that the brewery shot for was 5.15 to 5.2 for most beers. Things they wanted to be very full-bodied, they'd shoot for slightly higher pH of 5.3 to 5.35. If they missed those numbers, they'd add minerals for adjustment to get to the proper pH levels, i.e. calcium chloride, phosphoric acid, etc. Thoughts, comments, any insight to this?
Well, Kunz's book, Technology of Malting and Brewing, talks a bit about wort pH before the boil. My own opinion on it is that if you've got a healthy wort and water and pH in the mash, that you should drop into a good pH for the wort going into the boil. The boil should work. The pH drop should happen during the ferment, and you should get a good beer pH. There's not been a lot of study on pH drop really for any part of the brewing process much. I mean, the homebrewing community, because we talk about it, we've started doing pH measurements in the mash and adjusting the mash pH. But yeah, he's right. We haven't done much work in the way of wort pH going into the boil or exiting the boil. Jamil, do you ever consider this aspect much?
Yeah, I think and I'm not sure there's any real magic happening. It's just that the lower the starting pH of your wort before fermentation, the lower the finishing pH of your wort after fermentation. So it's pretty much tied in. Given the same yeast and all the other fermentation parameters the same, when you start lower, you finish lower. So. Yeah. And that can have an impact on kind of the perception of the beer, more bitter, less bitter, seemingly more full or less full, I think. So, I would agree with it in this way, that you need to, have a kind of a target pH in mind for your beer and the finish of the beer. And if the beer isn't quite right, maybe you want a higher or lower finishing pH. I've seen some studies and some papers on, pH at the end of the boil and through the boil and what's going on with staling reactions and such, and thermal load and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know that it's the most critical thing. But yeah, sometimes if you can successfully mash at a much higher pH and go into the boil with a higher pH. So I think your end of boil pH, you could adjust your the starting mash pH and fix it that way too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not aware of any correlation between wort pH and, say, protein and mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the enzymes that would be acting on proteins are dead at this point in the process. So, I don't know. It may be a solubility thing. It may be a coagulation thing. I don't know.
Well, that and just sometimes when your pH is higher, your fermentation, may not go as far. Or if your pH is lower,
fermentation has a very large moderating effect on changes in pH coming into fermentation. Colin, when we were writing the water book, mentioned that he would often see a difference of a tenth or two going into fermentation. It would come out at the same beer pH, after fermentation. With some recipes.
Yeah, if you're talking a tenth. I think if you're talking a tenth, maybe. But I've seen, a few tenths just carry through. So I've seen at our brewery a direct correlation between starting pH and finishing pH through fermentation.
And I would expect that.
Yeah. I think, as long as it's a range that the yeast can work in, they're gonna work in it. I think, small differences, again, if your fermentation is not exactly the same every time, it's going to be difficult to see that, it's consistent. So, hard to do without truly working some tests. All right. Let's see here. One more question.
This one's from Dustin Strong. He says he's read in a few places that making a yeast starter with a yeast blend, Y-Yeast Lambic blend or White Labs Berliner blend, is not recommended. The thinking being that some parts of the blend will reproduce more in the starter, shifting the balance of the blend. Just wondering if there's much evidence to support this thought.
I will tell you that the yeast manufacturers who make these blends have told me that they thought it was so, that they've looked and they've measured, and they'll grow up the yeasts and bacteria and whatever they're putting in these blends separately, and then they blend them together at a certain rate. And they tell me that if they go ahead and grow it up, or even in a batch of beer, at the end of the batch of beer, the ratios are different. And so I believed that, and I reported that, and I said that for a long time, that, you really want to be careful about that because it's going to throw things off and it's not going to be the same. And then I started, through a series of weird experiments where I would take, mixed culture beers and, just add wort to it and see what happened, and mixed culture beers that I had brewed, and then just add wort to the repitching essentially, and the flavor would turn out surprisingly just about identical to the initial beer. And so my thinking was, I'm not sure if this is really true or not. I think that yes, the growth and all this is happening at different rates, but that also happens in the beer, in that first beer that you're brewing. If you take a pitch of a mixed culture and throw it into your beer, the yeast grow up at a different rate anyways.
Yep.
And so your ratios are off. I mean, that's why they're off at the end of the brew, right? So the same thing happens in a starter. And part of it, I guess there could be blends where it would just go so far, eventually, killing off the other yeast or something, and then they wouldn't exist anymore. Well, if that was the case, then yeah. But I think that, and this is what I was telling Greg Doss when he worked at Y-Yeast, I was saying, I wonder if, just through the nature of each organism, they kind of have their own, slot in life. They have their little niche in the environment, and they do their own thing. And whether the rate is exactly the same or not, they it may take a little longer, but they eventually kind of get to the same point. And I'm sure there's, maybe it's not exactly identical, but I think that you can repitch mixed cultures. And I think that you can get pretty much the same results every time. And if that's the case, then you should be able to do a starter and grow it up. Now,
I would offer this thought.
Yeah.
That the conditions under which you put them in a starter, if those are quite different from, the beer fermentation, that could exacerbate the issue. Whereas if you're doing a starter that's being grown in much the same conditions as the beer would, then they're probably going to grow in a similar manner.
Yeah, but I would say, the cultures that were, when they were initially grown, they weren't grown in a beer fermentation. They were grown in special conditions. And, so they just throw them together. I don't know that the starter would throw it off that much.
Well, I think, if it was a super growth, hot, super aerated,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it potentially would be fine. I would lean towards it's more likely that it works out just fine than it is likely that it becomes a huge problem.
Okay.
That's what I would say. I would that is the way I'm leaning, and I'm sticking by it.
Okay. I will back you up.
All right. Yeah, we'll both go down in flames for this. No, I really think all the practical application that I've had, I've ended up with it pretty much always turning out exactly like it did before. So there you go. Give that a shot. All right. Okay. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more of your questions right after this.
Hey there, BN Army. Have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grain Fathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back, I guess. Yes.
Yeah,
we're certain degrees
definitely
of back.
We're back.
Definitely back.
Woo, we're back. Questions?
Question. This one's from Sebastian Schinkel. It says, A, you guys are awesome. And what is the best way to buy the water book that puts the most money in John Palmer's pocket?
Have him handwrite one on your arm.
Can he buy it directly from you?
Yeah, send me $100. No, go to the Brewers Publications website, or in other words, the AHA store, and you can buy them direct from there. And that would be the maximum margin. For the sale.
Believe it or not, we get paid more when you buy it from the publisher. When you buy it on Amazon,
very little.
Not so much.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, buy it wherever you want to buy it. It's not about us making money off of anything. It's really about, sharing information, trying to help people be better brewers. And so if you, save $5 on a book and we don't make anything, that's fine. Put it towards, temperature control fermentation.
Bevo's disagreeing. And,
Girls got to get paid.
Yeah. But, I think it's a very nice thought, though. Very nice sentiment. I just think, do what you need to do and, try and, donate the money to charity or something. John doesn't need it.
No.
I think,
do you often not get paid, Bevo?
No, I get paid.
Okay. She gets paid.
Yeah, sure.
She gets paid weekly.
No, I don't.
Yeah. All right. And
I don't know what that was. I'm real confused.
I don't think anyone really knew what that was.
Speaking of somebody who doesn't know what anything really is, have you listened to Dr. Homebrew? No. Don't tell Jake.
That was probably the best transition I've ever heard.
Segue. That was well done.
That was pretty good, I think. Oh, no, but you can listen. It's a good show with lots of, they get beer sent in and they analyze them, they judge them, and they give feedback on them right there on the air. So, cool show. And it's free, just like all the shows on the Brewing Network. So check it out. Lots of good shows for you to download and enjoy, including the very lovely Dr. Homebrew. So check that out. All right, next question.
All right, part 2 of Sebastian's email is he's asking about wastewater on a well septic system, and what should he be looking for in a good system? How does he protect the ecosystem and his well from the chemicals used in brewing?
Well, number one, don't fall in. Yeah, probably about covers it. I guess it's a septic system. So you don't want long-lasting sanitizers getting in, killing all of your septic bacteria, the stuff that breaks down the waste. And sanitizers such as iodophor can do that. Chlorine dioxide, some of the basically the more effective a sanitizer is, the more chance that it'll last into the ecosystem. And if you're on a septic tank, you may have trouble with killing off your septic bacteria and have to add some more.
Right. And, you know, I think a lot of the problems come with using more aggressive chemicals that are not designed for homebrew, or using excessive concentrations. You know, if you use these things in the right concentrations and don't go overboard, and you're brewing at like a normal pace and not like, you know, brewing 5 times a day. A lot of times, you know, can't these systems handle that, John? I mean, there's a massive amount of bacteria in these things.
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
And, you know, you got like a huge, giant pile of poo-filled water under the ground. So, you know, throwing in 5 gallons of, you know, some star sand, I don't think is really going to shut that down. Now, if you were to flood it with it, I think it could. But generally, you know, that if you're, you know, I'm not sure, you know, brewers should be using like chlorine dioxide or anything like that. You know, if they stick with the star sand, the PBW, those types of iodophore, those types of compounds, I think you know, they should be good. I mean, keep in mind that you know, all your dishwashing, you know, your clothes washing, all those chems are going into your septic system as well. They have septic safe, you know, versions of it, but you know, people will use bleach in their washing machine, and that goes right down there. And bleach is a very powerful, you know, sanitizer as well. So I don't think that you need to worry too much about that. As far as the well, what was his question about the well?
Pretty much the same thing. What's safe for the well and his septic system?
Don't fall in the well, like John said. Yeah. You know, a lot of things about well water. You know, the well water can change. Depends on where you're at, how big the aquifer is, and you know what. You know,
how deep it is, the kind of soil,
right.
Livestock.
I would suggest, yeah, especially like livestock and things, you know, nearby that you're doing that may be, you know, making its way into the water eventually. I'd suggest, you know, having your water tested.
How would livestock get into the water?
Turkey barf.
They pee. Turkey barf. They pee and poo on the ground, and it soaks in, and rain works that down, carries that down with it.
I was envisioning something completely different. Okay.
Right.
I'm there.
Yes.
No, sheep dip done into it.
Yeah. And normally, you know, bacteria and stuff like that in the soil will break down the compounds in the waste, and you know, by the time it gets through all the sedimentary rock or things like that, it'll kind of filter its way through and become you know, pure water, right?
Right.
So I would just suggest, so they have standards for testing wells that are used for human consumption. I would you know, kind of stick with those same testing. And then as far as water changes, I could highly recommend the Lamont water test kits. They tend to give you good results quickly and easily and at an affordable price. So you can just check your water on a regular basis as well. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so. All right, let's take one more short break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up after this.
Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available
article from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com. Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and a Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast, packaged using their Flex Cell process, ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, Flex Cell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. Got a couple more questions. Let's knock them out.
All right.
That's your cue to read a question.
I'm getting there, man. All right, this one's from Joshua Ingram from Boise, Idaho. It's about mash pH. Boise. Hello, Jamil and John. What is the target mash
I'm going to be in
pH?
Boise in September.
Are you?
Yes. The 12th and 13th.
Oh.
Boise. I'll be there.
There you go. What is the target mash pH when measuring pH at room temperature?
5.2 to 5.6.
All
It's
right.
a range. It's the actual best temperature depends on several factors. So we say 5.2 to 5.6 to cover the bases and get you in the ballpark. That usually works well.
Well, and he said at room temperature.
Yes.
All right, so room temperature tends to be like 0.3 higher than at mash temperature.
No, mash temperature is 0.3. Well, yes. I had it back. I was thinking of it backwards. Yes, mash temperature is 0.3 lower than room temperature. Yes.
Yes.
And 5.2 to 5.6 at room temperature is the target range.
Well, there you go. All right. You got one more?
One more. And then we have just Wait, you're not going to be
Scads
there.
more.
Endless chat room questions.
Just endless.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah?
It's like
Usually
a whole
so
other
quiet out
show
there.
of chat room questions. All right.
Oh, wait. What?
How's your solitaire game going?
You just insulted our listeners.
Damn
you.
Spider Solitaire, and I'm losing.
All right. Just read the questions. Come on. I want to get out of here.
Hi, guys. I just listened to the Thermal Load Show, and one of the reasons that's typically listed for a vigorous boil was barely mentioned, which is getting a good hot break.
Mm-hmm.
If you lower the intensity of your boil to avoid excessive thermal load, aren't you also lessening the amount of hot break formed? And by getting less of a hot break, aren't you also leaving stability-damaging proteins in your beer? Seems to me that there must be a sweet spot that hits the optimum hot break while not introducing excessive thermal load. Is that a fair statement? If so, where's that sweet spot? And if not, where am I misunderstanding?
How many times did he say sweet spot in that?
A lot. And if he said, if so, where's that sweet spot?
Yeah.
He did a little parenthesis, insert Adam and Eve live read here.
Right. I'll get to that in just a moment. The
length, the intensity of the boil doesn't change it.
It that much, yeah. Once you reach a certain temperature, I think, when did the break start forming at, 190 or something like that?
Yeah, 180, 190, something.
Yeah, so, in the difference between, a boil and a leaping boil, temperature-wise is like a degree. It's not, it's not much. You really don't retain that much heat. So it doesn't, you're not talking about really improving your break by going balls out on it.
Yeah. Time will improve the break. There's some documentation on time, 90 minutes and 120 minutes versus 60, but that's, it's not something that we're worried about trying to optimize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should be fine with just a regular old boil, and with not going crazy in your boil, just a gentle boil, and you should be fine. All right, I'll tell you what. But if you want more, get yourself over to adamandeve.com. Use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, at adamandeve.com, and I'll tell you what, you are going to get more. You're going to get 10 times as much. You're going to get 10 free gifts. First off, you're going to get a fine gift for her, a fine gift for you, and a fine gift for the both of you, which apparently is Bevo's very favorite thing in the world. It is the clit dumper.
That's how you find a sweet spot.
That's how you find the sweet spot, right? You want balls out, find the sweet spot, use the clit dumper. AdamandEve.com. Just saying. And they're going to give you 6 free adult DVDs, full-length beauties, and free shipping. 10 free gifts in all, just for using the offer code Jamil, Jamil, at adamandeve.com. Check them out. Nice sponsor. Check them out today. Bevo, you had a question from the chat.
Are you speaking at NCHF?
No. A couple of reasons. They didn't ask. And
well, that's rude.
I am going to be in Portland with Pornographic Steve. He's going up there for a porn shoot. I thought I'd go along and watch.
Yeah. He's so supportive.
Hold his towel for him.
Like,
what a guy.
What kind of support?
Hold his jock strap.
Hold his junk so the camera can get a better angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Has the briefcase that carries the mustache.
I'm going to hold his strap, his support gear. I'm supportive. What can I say?
You're a good man.
That's right. That's right. That. At the same time, I'm actually going to be speaking at a homebrew meeting at Steinbart's on that Thursday, which I believe is the 15th. And we're going to talk about beer, and we're going to drink some beer and have some fun. I think it's a big old meeting of like 2 homebrew clubs, but I think if you were to ask them if you could sit in, I bet you they would not be opposed to that. So check that out too. And I'll be in Boise just before that, and then Porno Steve will be there too. and we'll be having some beers. So you can come out to events and have some beers with us, and who knows what. Have some fun. Are you shocked that we are going to Portland together?
Well, I can't tell if you're joking.
No, really.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd Steve get invited on a trip before me?
I didn't get invited. I just bought out my own ticket and went, hey, I'm going to meet you there.
If you were to put out more, you'd get the invite.
See,
that's the difference right there.
That's the real.
Okay.
There's a price, people.
It's a price.
Got to be willing to pay the price.
Right. And not cry too much afterwards.
I'm going to cry after this conversation. Did we mention that today is Porno Steve's birthday?
Oh,
he's finally legal.
Birthday.
Yeah. He'll be filming the video Finally Legal.
Crack Wrangler, Porno Steve Crack Wrangler in Finally Legal.
Nice.
In 12 states. I'd love to be at NCHF. I love NCHF. That is just one of the most awesome. John, you've been there with me before.
I love it there.
That's just one of the most awesome events. It's just a beautiful place, and it's just so homebrew, man. I tell you, I love it.
Guys like us.
Yeah, just wandering around and
women. Yeah.
having beer and eating food and talking, brewing, and just having fun, camping out. It is awesome.
Hitting deer. It's awesome.
Hitting deer. Running over deer.
I hit a deer.
In the motorhome. Yes.
Was it terrifying?
It was awful. I hit a deer a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah.
On the freeway.
Did it destroy?
On Interstate 80.
How destroyed was your car?
It wasn't that destroyed because there were no cars around me, so I was able to slam on my brakes and swerve around it, so I clipped it, and it just
take its head off?
It took my bumper off.
Dude.
The side of my bumper is gone, and the part that's left has fur attached to it still.
It'll take you out, man. It's crazy.
It was terrifying.
Yes. If you're wondering about our instance of hitting a deer, go back to the archives. Listen to them all until you hear about the Chris White mega RV.
I definitely heard this story.
The rampage.
Yes.
So terrible.
It was pretty awesome.
And great.
I talked about it the other day. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think that's the show. I think we'll call that a show. If you enjoyed this,
all right.
Make sure to check out our fine sponsors. Check out Blickman Engineering especially. Send an email to John Blickman by hitting feedback at blickmanengineering.com and let him know how much you appreciate them sponsoring this show. Check out all the goodies that they have in the Brewing Network store, thebrewingnetwork.com/store. Because when you buy those things, get yourself a growler, get yourself some pint glasses, get some shirts, some hats, some hoodies, some... what else they got?
Couches.
They got no, they don't. They got bottle openers. They got posters. They've got silk plants. They got it all. And when you buy that stuff, it all goes to the bottom line of the Brewing Network and helps keep shows like this on the air. Until then, everybody, brew strong.
Brew strong.